How you doing, Gabino?
Yeah,
Yes, we're on.
I'm doing fine today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming over. More than anything, I just want to start with saying that it is an honor knowing you, sir.
Gracias. Yeah.
And you are so helpful to the community in so many different ways. All the group from Lucha. I honor you all, and I'm really happy. And I open the space for you to share with us some of the wonderful things that you're working on.
Well, the most important thing right now is, of course, having to deal with immigration and the Trump administration, ¿verdad? So we've been working with several organizations, Defensa, Todos Somos Inmigrantes.
DC Defensa?
Sí.
Okay, cool.
The Undocu and so we got 2 or 3 things going with them. And of course, it's about protecting our community, and it starts with knowing your rights. I think as an immigrant, especially if you're undocumented, you feel like you don't belong, and you kind of internalize it. So you're andas escondido, you're hiding, you're as invisible as possible, and you're always in fear. Mm-hmm. So folks don't understand, lots of folks don't understand that within that undocumented status, you have rights as a resident of this country, right? Mm-hmm. The Constitution's there. You got First Amendment rights, free mm-hmm. speech. Mm-hmm. You have the Fifth Amendment, which allows you to not make statements that incriminate yourself, mm-hmm. right? So knowing your rights is the first step in mm-hmm. protecting yourself during these times right now. Mm-hmm. So what I say is that if you get approached out on the street, you don't have to say anything. They ask you your name, nada.
So you could just walk away. What do you do at that point?
Yeah.
Okay.
And unless they have a warrant for your arrest, they can't stop you. They can't search you, right? Those are the rights that you have. So all you have to say is, I know my rights, conozco mis derechos, and if you're not arresting me, then I need to go. So you walk away, right?
Yes.
So you don't have. They ask you your name. You don't have to tell them. They ask you whether you're undocumented. You don't say anything. Anything that you say, as they say, is can and will be used against you. So the best thing to do is not say anything, right?
How are things different now than they were before? Like, all this was all the other administrations, they were doing the same thing as far as going to people and asking them these kind of questions. Why is it so aggressive right now? It wasn't this aggressive in the past, in the history?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it's been aggressive, every single president that has sat in that chair in the White House, within their immigration policies, they allow for deportations, right? Yeah. So you would think that, of course, George Bush, then Obama, then Trump, and then Biden, and then now Trump again. Yeah. Well, each one of them has deported, 2, 3, 4, 500,000 people every year, right?
I remember the kids in cages, family separations. That was major. So is this a continuation of that?
It's a continuation of that, but it's much more vicious.
Got it.
Right now we're seeing. Talking about the kids in cages, as our friend Gabriel said, that happened 5 or 6 years ago, and those children that were 6 years old right now, they're 12 years old, and they're still not with their parents, right? Geez. So they've grown up within the institution. So and we're seeing that happening again, right? I mean, we're dealing with a woman from Santa Paula who's being deported, and her children are unaccompanied minors now. So the grandmothers had to come and take them over. So they're thinking about self-deporting, because the mother's going to be sent away. The children are here. The grandmother is here. So you either stay and within the same craziness of deportation, or you can go where you feel more safe, right?
Yeah.
So you go back home, you kick it with your family, and
Lay
now
low.
there's an element of safety, and especially for children, right?
Right. Wow.
So knowing your rights is one of those things, and talking about unaccompanied minors and having children while you're in undocumented status. Then, so what if you get picked up at work, whether you're out in the field, construction, in the kitchen, washing dishes, landscaping, whatever it is that you do, if you get picked up, what happens to your children that are in school? What happens to your car? What happens to your bank accounts? If you've bought a house, and you don't have to be documented to buy a house, what happens to that house, right? So the second thing that we're doing is we're developing like family emergency plans, and these plans then document who is going to be responsible for administering your money, your assets, who can pick up your children, who can take your children to the doctor, right? Once you're gone. So those family plans are something that we're focused on right now, and the three organizations that I mentioned, and along with others around the state, that's what they're into. And then the third thing that we're looking at and implementing is the Rapid Response Network. So the Rapid Response Network, when Trump announced that he was going to have the largest deportation in the history of the United States, right? Like he's always exaggerating his status. When he announced that, all of a sudden, Facebook, social media, we got calls there at the Centro where I work that ICE is in town.
Maybe you want to mention the Centro?
Yeah, El Centro del Pueblo, there in Santa Paula, which is under the Lucha umbrella, along with Poder Popular.
Poder Popular. Shout out to Doña Mari.
Oh, sí, también, ¿verdad? So anyway, all of a sudden we're getting these calls that ICE is in town. And then they put it on Facebook, and it would go out, and it would freak out the community, right?
I saw that.
So to deal with that issue, then, if what we're suggesting is that if you see ICE or somebody that you feel, a vehicle or individuals with or without uniforms, with or without signs that say they're from Homeland Security, if you see them and you think that they are, then we ask you to call a number.
Right.
And this number is a legal observer who then confirms whether it is or is not.
Yes.
And if it is, then that information goes out to a registered group of individuals who gave up their name so that they could be contacted. And this information, this group text message goes out that ICE is in town and you should be careful, right?
See, to me, the thing is just like the pandemic tested us of our human will to be community. This too, just like all these different groups that are basically creating kind of like neighborhood watches. I think that's the kind of that's the beauty, that's the miracle, that's the magic that is happening amongst ourselves. We're not looking for funding, we're not looking for approval or like likes. We're doing it because our heart believes. We were part of that immigrant line. My parents were undocumented. I remember fearing, as a little kid. I know that fear. You know what I mean? In many ways, that's why I become the person that I am. But yes, this fear is really strong. But this unity amongst people, like all these different groups, I love it, and I think that's the power that we are seeing right now. I just want to acknowledge that for the public to see, to witness what's happening.
Yeah. On the way over here, I was listening to this song by Los Tigres del Norte called "Somos Más Americanos," right?
Great song.
And that's a great corrido which talks about the fact that, as we say during the Chicano movement, we didn't cross the border crossed us, right? And that corrido is about that,
Yes.
we lost half of Mexico in 1848 with quote unquote Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, we lost half of our territory, of Mexican territory. So all of what's considered now Aztlán, California, Nevada, Oregon, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, all of that was taken. And
but tell me this, during the Treaty of Guadalupe, didn't it also say that, like, hey, the Mexicans that are here, you're going to respect them, correct? I could have sworn. So I think we need to bring that back. Hey, bro, like I know we're Mexican, or if these people are just, newcomers, but in the Treaty of Guadalupe, it says here, you guys took the land, whatever. I mean, happens, but it also says you're going to respect us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're trying to get to at this point is like, hey man, stop treating people as subhumans. Fine, we understand. Everybody's having economic issues. This is all about like our state of survival. And so we're getting pinned against each other. Pero I'm sorry, I just had to express that.
No, that's fine. That's fine, because that's exactly true. That the irony, going back to Los Tigres, is that we come to work, right? As immigrants, and immigration and migration is just a natural process. Where throughout history people have moved. When the climate has changed, they moved.
And when the pandemic hit, I estábamos, dude, working and seeing our parents have to go to work, or our familia have to go to work, and everybody's like scared that they might get sick. Called, 2, 3, 5 years ago, they were called essential workers. And we should remember that.
And as essential workers, then you were required to go to work, right? So farm workers were some of those. Promotoras and promotores that were working with the pandemic and educating the community, they were classed as essential workers, and with the promotoras and the volunteers that would work out of the centro, most of us got COVID. Just because we were exposed, and we were exposed because we wanted to help people, so we protected ourselves with personal protective equipment, PPE. But even then, we'd get COVID. We took it home. Our children got COVID. So we put ourselves on the line to make sure that we saved some folks here in this county. The estimate was that we saved 300 to 400 lives because of the work that we did with the COVID campaign. So here we are in this country where we all come in a good way, I think, even though they label us criminals for crossing the border that we had nothing to do with. And so right now, going back to presidents deporting people, during their administration, I just heard yesterday that even though the federal administration say that we're going to focus on criminals, right? Well, of the first 80 people that they deported, 79 of them had no criminal record. Only one of them did. So and then you find these folks that were deported without any legal reason. You find them going to El Salvador, right? A dictatorship where the United States is paying them to receive all of these immigrants, and that's a hellhole, So individuals that were hardworking Americans, Mexicanos living here, even if you're undocumented, even if you didn't have any kind of criminal record, all of a sudden you find yourself in a hardcore prison with hardcore individuals, and you're leaving your family behind to struggle, and so it's just a bad situation.
I just want to know how the public could look beyond our skin colors, look beyond just our differences, and see that this is madness. I'm not even mad. I'm sad. I feel so much emotion. And I think that a lot of people are feeling this, and we need to find ways to positively, like I said, continue working together, unifying ourselves. But we need to see this as a call to action, is what I'm saying. There's no reason to sit back, because Someone said it earlier, and they said, primero vienen por ti, y luego vienen por mí.
Yeah.
And that's what's up. I mean,
Yeah.
like, same thing. Even I'm gonna even mention this: gang injunctions. They don't just go after the gangs; they go after other chamaquitos that grow up in the barrio.
Yeah.
And I seen it,
Yeah.
it. Same thing here. They're not just going.
Mhm.
They're using one word, but everybody else is getting affected.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And even the people who aren't undocumented, who are full citizens, they're getting thrown in the mix. I
Yeah.
mean, let the public know. Let the public witness it. It's happening. You know?
Yeah.
I just want the public. Once again, we're conscious. We want the public to know. Like, you know what I mean? We really want the public to know that this is happening, and really it's in all our hands.
Yeah, and some of the folks that I know that see the kind of work that we're doing, and when you hit them up about, about whether they're concerned about what's going on, and some of them flat out said, you know what, I'm just going to put my head in the sand and let it blow over for the next 3 or 4 years. It'll blow over, right? But the damage is being done right now, right? So
I want to just say really quick for those people, because I mean, forever. I mean, like I said, my parents were undocumented, so I lived with fear. I get it, and forever I don't want to get in the mix, but at the same time, I think that there's different ways. We don't have to be going all to the marches, which, by the way, there's one this Sunday. Mr. Gomez just told me in Oxnard, so if you want to get involved with that, we'll have a flyer in the comments. But there's other ways to get involved where you don't have to be showing, support from behind the scenes, ¿verdad?
Yeah. You need to exercise your rights. So whether it is to protect your family, whether it's to protect people that you know, right now we're in a situation where everybody is at risk. That it looks like it's going toward fascism.
Right.
And with the dismantling of what they call the deep state, right? With that dismantling of the administrative apparatus of this country, it's all that damage that's being forced on this country right now by the federal administration. All of that damage is going to last for years and years and years. We might say that that Trumper is going to be gone in 3 years, 3.5 years. Well, the damage is still going to be here, right? So we have to act right now.
Yes, sir.
To limit the damage as much as we can, and push our electeds and our leadership to do something about it. Because right now, we would hope that that the Democrats would stand up and against the Republicans, but. There's a few that are doing that, but not in the numbers that it takes to make a majority vote to stop this madness, as you're calling it. It is madness to stop it. So
let's end with one message. If we could talk to the public, we could send a message to the public directly. Let's send that message. After that, if we may, let's do it in Spanish. So folks that listen to it in English, if some people, if they would like to hear it in Spanish, we'll direct them to the next video, which will be in Spanish. But for this last moment, let's give some calls to action of how people could react to our times.
Sí. Para esas personas que no hablan inglés o que prefieren hablar español, como algunos de nosotros, ¿verdad? Entonces, estamos en un crisis nacional, no solamente nacional, sino internacional. Así es, donde nuestros derechos se están violando todos los días, y si somos de color bronce, ¿verdad? Si somos latinos, si somos inmigrantes, si somos indocumentados, si somos gente que no es de raza blanca, entonces ahorita se están enfocando en nosotros y desafortunadamente nos están echando de este país. Dicen que solamente van a echar a los criminales, a los que están indocumentados, pero como hemos visto en otras redadas durante los 30s, durante los 50s, ¿verdad? Muchos muchas personas que estaban aquí legalmente, que eran nacidos aquí, que eran ciudadanos naturalizados aquí, de todas maneras se los llevaban. Y luego entonces ahí está el problema para ellos de cómo se van a regresar, si ya es que los deportaron, ¿verdad? Lo más importante que podemos hacer en este momento es en conocer nuestros derechos, ¿verdad?
Sí, que son, para que la gente que oiga de nosotros, qué son los derechos, qué pueden hacer si alguien empieza a hacer preguntas que a lo mejor son de la inmigración.
Sí, usted tiene derecho a su propia privacidad. Es decir, si usted, un oficial, le dice a usted de Homeland Security o de ICE, ¿verdad? Si le dicen, ¿cómo te llamas? Ustedes no tienen que responder, ¿verdad? Y si le dicen, ¿son inmigrantes ustedes o tienen papeles? No respondan, ¿verdad? ¿Dónde vives? No respondan. ¿Tienes familia aquí? No respondan. ¿Tienes familia indocumentada? No respondan, ¿verdad? Se trata de no decir nada.
Sí.
Porque en cuanto uno comienza a hablar, entonces muchas veces la siguiente pregunta, y ellos están ahí para chantajarte. Así, ¿verdad? Así es que ellos no son honestos como quisiéramos que fueran todos, ¿verdad?
No son sinceros.
Ajá, así, ¿verdad? Así es de que ellos están para echarnos, ¿verdad?
Sí. Ese es su único trabajo.
Yo sé, y lo que vemos con Trump es de que ellos, Trump lo está apoyando. Si acaso ellos violan la ley en alguna manera, en su opinión de esas personas, entonces saben que Trump lo va a defender y no los va a culpar, ¿verdad?
Y lo probó cuando dejó ir todos los que hicieron todo su desmadre en enero del 6.
Sí, así es, ¿verdad? Así es de que conociendo sus derechos de no divulgar su información, ¿verdad? Ustedes no tienen que abrir su puerta si vienen a tocarle en su apartamento o en su casa. Si ustedes están en su automóvil y los paran, ustedes no necesitan salir, ¿verdad? No abran la ventana, ¿verdad? Se trata de protegerse lo más posible, ¿verdad? Y luego también de tener un plan para su familia.
Sí.
En caso de que lo levanten, desafortunadamente si lo levantan a usted, ¿qué pasa con sus hijos que están en la escuela, que están con cuidado de niños, con unas familias? ¿Qué pasa con su automóvil? ¿Qué pasa con su casa? ¿Qué pasa con su cuenta del banco? Todas esas cosas son importantes para documentar, porque si acaso, como usted a Julio, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Si a Julio lo levantan, entonces él necesita darle permiso a una persona para que trate con todos esos negocios que se van quedando atrás, ¿verdad?
Y también mi casa, si tengo una casa,
claro.
¿Quién va a pagar por ella?
Así.
Estamos hablando un poquito con el don Gabino del centro de Santa Paula, que por muchos años, toda mi vida que lo he conocido, siempre he estado apoyando a la gente inmigrante de las comunidades hispanas y otras gentes de muchas culturas. Pero ahorita estamos hablando un poquito sobre los derechos que tienen la gente inmigrante, y no nomás la gente inmigrante, toda gente que los aprochen a la inmigración, porque ahorita como está la situación ya sabemos que está media pesada, y si miramos las redes sociales hay mucho espantos, mucha información que se pierde la gente, pero lo que estamos diciendo, raza, que también en estos tiempos, como subimos cuando vino la pandemia, la comunidad se junta. Aunque tenemos diferentes opiniones, diferentes formas de ser, nos juntamos y como sobrevivimos esos tiempos tan espantosos, también vamos a hacer lo mismo en estos tiempos. Para todo lo que está pasando, también está pasando algo positivo que está pasando entre nosotros. Díganos de todos los grupos que se están uniendo para ayudar a la gente inmigrante. Es muy emocionante.
Sí, pues hablando de esas tres coaliciones, ¿verdad? Todos somos inmigrantes,
Sí.
La defensa, ¿verdad?
BC Defensa.
Sí, BC Defensa.
Sí.
Entonces, y otras coaliciones a través de todo el estado. Entonces, estamos trabajando juntas, coordinando nuestras actividades para tener un mayor impacto en esto que se trata de proteger a nuestra comunidad, ¿verdad? Además de eso, entonces hay otras batallas que estamos haciendo, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Por ejemplo, cuando hubo tiempo de calor, entonces nosotros damos información en cómo se podía proteger una persona que trabajaba en el sol, ¿verdad?
Sí, todo el día.
Y también trabajando en el sol, trabajando en la construcción, en el campo, en la nursería, en las
Sí.
flores, etcétera, ¿verdad? Entonces también ustedes tienen ciertos derechos
Ujú.
y deben de ejercer esos derechos, ¿verdad?
Ujú.
Muchas veces también tenemos un programa donde es una colaboración con el Consulado de México, donde si usted no sabe leer ni escribir,
Sí.
nosotros le ayudamos a aprender a leer y a escribir, ¿verdad?
Muy
Y eso es muy importante,
Sí.
porque sin saber leer uno como vive en la oscuridad,
Sí.
¿verdad? Y es muy fácil de que se aprovechen de uno si uno no sabe. Por ejemplo, si usted anda en el field y ha levantado ciertas cajas de, vamos a decir, de fresa, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Entonces, si usted no sabe matemática, entonces se van a aprovechar de usted. Y si usted levantó 100 cajas y el patrón dice, pues solamente contamos 50, ¿qué va a decir usted? ¿Verdad?
Y pues para gente que no sabe, si necesita ayuda de leer y escribir, vamos a decir, es algo muy que se entiende cuando la gente no tiene, mis padres, la educación, no porque ciertas razones no pudieron seguir con su educación, pero nomás estoy diciendo que a veces nos tenemos que reconocer hasta como hombres, decir, hey, ¿sabes qué? Debo de tomar estas clases. Pero estas clases sí son efectivas, me imagino, porque saben cómo comunicar con la gente, ¿verdad? Los respetan cuando están enseñándose. Y díganos un poquito de qué ha salido de esas clases.
Pues con esta organización o este programa que se llama La Plaza Comunitaria, ¿verdad?
La plaza comunitaria.
Es una colaboración con la Secretaría de Educación en México.
Wow.
So, si usted no fue a la escuela, o si usted fue a la escuela pero solamente llegó a la primaria, segundo, tercer grado, ¿verdad?
Uh-huh.
Y viene con nosotros ahí en el centro del pueblo con Poder Popular y la Plaza Comunitaria, entonces usted nos dice, bueno, pues la primera cosa es, ¿cómo se llama usted? ¿Cuáles son tus datos? ¿Dónde nació? ¿De dónde es usted? ¿De dónde viene? Y a qué nivel de educación tiene usted.
Para el récord, ¿nos puede decir que toda esa información se queda con...?
Sí, es interna,
Okay.
esa información, ¿verdad? Sí, entonces con esa información, entonces nosotros pedimos sus récords de México. Si usted nos dice que usted es de Morelia, Michoacán, y allí fue a la escuela, entonces nosotros mandamos pedir esos documentos, y luego cuando nos lleguen, vemos que usted nomás tuvo la escuela hasta el tercer grado, entonces el gobierno mexicano nos manda los módulos para el cuarto grado, y luego nosotros trabajamos con usted para completar esos módulos, ¿verdad? Y luego cuando se terminen esos módulos de cuarto grado, uh-huh, entonces le dan un certificado oficial de México que dice ahora ya vas al quinto, ¿verdad? Hemos
entonces,
tenido...
todo es oficial.
Oh, sí, y todas han habido estudiantes que hemos tenido nosotros que comienzan desde el primero, segundo, tercer grado y han salido de la secundaria.
De toda la gente que está mirando ahorita, yo creo que hay unos pocos que ya tienen interés. ¿Cómo pueden agarrar acceso a estas clases?
Sí, pueden llamar a María Jiménez, que es la coordinadora de la Plaza Comunitaria. María Jiménez, el teléfono de ella es 805-625-1212, ¿verdad? Y no solamente tenemos el programa ese de analfabetismo, uh-huh, y educación básica, pero, uh-huh, también tenemos talleres de violencia doméstica, damos distribución de comida, distribución de pañales, distribución de comida para los niños pequeños. Ahí también tenemos información acerca de la inmigración también. Uh-huh. Estamos apoyando un proyecto que se llama el Proyecto Isabela. Uh-huh. El Proyecto Isabela, uh-huh, es un proyecto donde estamos enfocándonos en Santa Paula y vamos a proveer acceso a educación infantil para todos los niños de Santa Paula, ¿verdad? Okay. hablando de los niños de Santa Paula de 3 y 4 años, hay 900 niños. Y de esos 900 niños, como la tercera parte tienen acceso a preschool, ¿verdad? Educación infantil. Y los otros 600, cuando llegan al kindergarten, llegan atrasados y se siguen atrasando más y más, ¿verdad? Porque no tienen esa preparación.
Sí.
So, el proyecto Isabela, entonces vamos a cambiar eso y vemos que cuando cada familia tenga esta oportunidad de mandar a sus niños a la escuela a esa edad, entonces van a avanzar mejor, van a salir mejor de la escuela, van a tener mejor preparación para la vida, van a obtener mejores trabajos, etcétera, etcétera, ¿verdad? Además de que la educación están aprendiendo y desarrollando su inteligencia, ¿verdad?
Sí.
So esas son algunas de las cosas que trabajamos de ahí del centro del pueblo en Santa Paula.
Pues siempre me encanta platicar con usted y oír de tantas cosas que se están haciendo que son positivas para la comunidad. Y espero que ustedes en el público aprovechen de estos programas, porque aquí están. Y más que todo, con nuestras últimas palabras, queremos decir que en estos tiempos es muy importante que hagamos nuestras partes, en cualquier forma que sea. Todo eso está afectando todo.
Sí.
Para todo lo negativo hay que darle lo positivo.
Claro.
Y ese es el balance.
Ese es.
No tengan miedo, aunque están en los tiempos medios locos, aquí estamos para nosotros. Y como siempre, sobrevivimos, ¿verdad?
Sí, somos familia.
Diga sus últimas palabras al público. Muchas gracias por venir, siempre apoyarnos y apoyar la comunidad de todo el condado de Ventura. Le dejamos con sus últimas palabras para el público. Gracias.
Bueno, pues que viva la gente, ¿verdad? Que vivan las familias, que vivan los chicanos, ¿verdad? Que vivan los inmigrantes, ¿verdad? Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.